Alright, just before Christmas, my girlfriend told me that she wanted a flower press. I'm like, what is a flower press, you know? I thought you just put flowers in a little like book, close it up for a couple weeks, come back, boom, nice dried flowers, works mint. I've done it before, works great. No, flower presses exist, they're a real thing, you know? They squeeze. I went to the local hardware store and I picked up the ingredients to bake myself a flower press cake. And I documented the whole process so you too can make a flower press. Alright, so these are the materials you're going to need. You're going to need a piece of project board. This is optional, but I used a little bit of a stain on my wood. I also picked up some little paint brushes. You're going to want some hardware. These specific ones, wing nuts, little washers, and bolts. I'm using Modge Podge to put some dried flowers on top of it. That's what the paintbrushes are for. You're gonna need a drill with a bit that matches the size of your hardware. You could use a handsaw, but I'm using a power, like a skill saw to cut the wood because I'm too lazy. You're also gonna need a clamp to like hold your wood down. This is the only clamp I have. First things first, measure out and cut your wood, dude. First thing I tried to do was stick the clamp onto this piece of shit workbench that we have in our garage, so that didn't work. I put it on to the wood workbench, much better. Then just zip that. There, I saved your ears, put in my own sound effects for y'all. Alright, so I made my wood 12 inches by 12 inches, so as you can see now, I have two pretty close to being perfect squares. They're like a little bit off, but nothing that a little bit of sanding can't touch up. So that's what you're looking for. No, you can do any size. I did foot by foot so that you can stick a lot of flowers in. I saw that I had enough wood that I could make a smaller press too, so I went ahead and did that. Obviously, you just need to make one unless you want to make two, but I will just show you how to make the one big one that I made. The next step is to drill the holes for your hardware. You could measure out like ½ an inch from each side and do it like that. I'm lazy, so I just drilled a pilot hole through both pieces while they were stacked on top of each other, and then went ahead and drilled the whole ½ inch hole through. The best way to keep yourself organized and not making mistakes and stressing out when working on projects like this is to keep the area that you're working in clean. So I took a little break after I'd done all my sawing and drilling to vacuum my little workspace up. I think this is important. Clean as you go, and then you have a less of a mess to deal with at the end. Alright, so my pieces fit together best in a certain orientation, so I'm putting a little pencil line there so that later on I can go over and put a nice silver paint line so that when you take them apart and put them back together, it's obvious which orientation they go in. Alright, so you're going to want to crack open your stain at this point if you're following along exactly how I do it. And then take off all your clothes because you realize you don't want to get this stain on your clothes, or wear clothes that you don't care about, but I just did this part naked. And then throw the stain on the wood. You know, it's pretty straightforward. It's like painting. You know how to paint, so same thing. One piece of advice I'll give is don't put stain where the flowers are going to actually go. Just do all the outside edges and keep the inside clean just in case it leaches onto the flowers. I don't think it would, but it might. I'm not sure. And then boom, put your stuff away and let it dry overnight, you know, in a well ventilated area, hopefully. Alright, so a few days have come and gone, and I am now laying out my dried flowers on top of the flower press. It takes a little while. For some reason I use tweezers to be really specific, I guess, but then it just gets messed up when you put the Modge Podge on it, so, you know, make a design that's somewhat easy to do, you know, don't be too precise with it. Nature is organic shapes, you know, go with something you think is cool. Anyway, this is the design that I ended up with. And then for the smaller one, if in case you care, I just put one little like stemmed flower on it. because I thought it looked cool, like very minimalist on the smaller one. Alright, it's time for the fun part. The Modge Podge. This part's actually kind of stressful because I didn't want my flowers to get all messed up. So apply your Modge Podge pretty liberally, you know, don't be shy on it. It dries clear, so don't worry if you have a really thick layer. Also, it'll help protect the flowers on top. This is not nearly enough, you know, go like dump that on there, you know, like imagine like it's ranch dressing and you're a 3-year-old that doesn't want to eat their carrots. And then just sort of spread it out. For the first layer, just try and get it all over the flowers. Don't really worry too much about following the grain of the wood, but once you get all the flowers covered, you're going to want to take care and make sure that your brush strokes follow the grain of the wood, otherwise it'll look not as nice. Yeah, and it'll dry clear. Your brush strokes will be hopefully in line with the grain of the wood. It'll all kind of blend in. Once you finish getting all of your Modge Podge on, you're just going to want to let it sit overnight again and let it dry out. You're basically done the project at this point, so give yourself a little pat on the back. You did great. Alright, that's it. It turned out. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you got something from it. Maybe you want to make yourself a flower press. Maybe you want to make your girlfriend a flower press. Maybe you want to make your grandma a flower press. Whoever you want to make a flower press for, I hope this video laid out the instructions pretty clearly from point A to point B so that you too can figure out how to make a flower press. It's a pretty fun project. You can do it all without any power tools if you really hate yourself. I don't know. Yeah, that's it for this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you next week, hopefully. I don't know, I've been kind of slacking lately. Anyway, more life and blessings. Goodbye, my friends.